Hey, everybody, welcome back to Uptown Films Podcast, where we have Max Gordon, and we have a very special guest today. Solomon West is a dynamic professional with the mechanical engineer background and a multifaceted career spanning cloud infrastructure, software integration, and community health. Certified as an AWS Cloud Practitioner, Solomon is fluent in technologies like Docker, Kubernetes, React, and Jenkins, with hands-on experience in database systems and API development. His business's acumen shines through in his understanding of media tech ecosystems. He's contributed to platforms where film studios leverage granular data, including trailer views and shares, to optimize distribution strategies and secure funding. Solomon cross-industry experience includes engineering projects, management, application support, and health equity outreach, making him a rare blend of technical depth, strategic thinking, and human-centered impact. So we welcome to the Uptown Films Podcast, Solomon West.
Welcome.
Thank
Woo!
you.
Yes. Cool. So, Solomon, how did you get your start at doing apps?
Yeah, so I was graced with the opportunity to sit in the same room as decision makers when a lot of companies were doing their cloud migrations in the early 2010s and through to maybe even now. It's tapering off a little bit, but I got a lot of experience behind me, just learning about the different technologies that are present in the space. It's a galaxy, really. It's not even like a very finite amount of technology out there. There's always technology popping up everywhere. So I got my experience, doing applications and more specifically doing infrastructure as code from back then. I got my feet wet with some of the different configuration management platforms, as well as like on containerization. Those are all just terms to define exactly where the machine sits in the cloud or on in your home production environment. But yeah.
I know I have a question. It's kind of random, but what's the weirdest or funniest name for like a software or a workspace communication app? What I know some are crazy, like Jumble and Squish and whatever the hell.
Yeah, there's one called Helm.
Helm? Okay.
There's one called Helm. Not to be stoic today, but there's this one called Prometheus.
Okay, that's a fun one. You ever see that movie?
Prometheus No, that's a book. I've seen the book. I've seen the movie Prometheus. I think
Prometheus.
It was supposed to be like the
It's
the alien prequel.
The alien prequel.
Yeah.
I think it was a prequel. Yep.
I love that movie.
But Prometheus is definitely one of the ones that stands out to me. All the other ones have just like most of the time just one syllable.
I got
just
you.
trying to be as original as possible. Yeah.
Sorry, I know I got a sidetracked.
No worries.
Early,
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know when we read the bio, you mentioned that it mentioned that you're a mechanical engineer. So tell us a little bit about how you got into that, and a little bit about a background about yourself.
Yeah, so I went to school at the University of Buffalo. A little foreshadow for all the inspiration that really has shaped my trajectory since becoming an adult. But I've always been very interested in driving down the results, the details, and things that are causers of big things happening and new things happening, new technologies or new thinking and breaking barriers or I'm just always consuming information, media, and things that are in that realm. I guess it's really cacophonous. When you really think about it, and like in the span of like a couple of years, if you consume the world news and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that are happening in technology that really are, whether it's just laws or governing things, and new technologies, pricing becoming disrupted, and allowing for new people to enter different spaces where they would have not even the ability to have imposter syndrome before, but just because of like the pricing structure of different things. And that's where one of my assumptions came from. I wanted to build a platform, software that really helps a creative to have their intellectual property protected, as well as make their reason why they continue to create art, make that as transparent as possible, and put numbers behind it, and have like tangible things rather than before they actually hand over the CD or DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever, download it from the cloud.
It's a great jumping off point into how would you explain like the mechanics of trailer scope?
Yeah, so trailer scope, it's called artifact search. So that's what the technology is based on. It's been done before. Artifact search is nothing new in the scope of technology. A very interesting YouTube video came out a little while ago. You may have seen it, may have not, but it was a little documentary, kind of off the cuff, kind of just like I don't know how you would generalize it, but there was a documentary where people who do bird watching, they use like an application, like it's open source application to be able to replay bird songs, to replay bird songs, or to actually even just listen to the bird songs that are currently out there, and it helps them identify. And this YouTube documentary was kind of like, I was like, wow, they use the same thing that I.
What's the name of that? Because I feel like I've seen.
It starts with an S, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's popped up in my recommended over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's like it's angled as like this like exciting thing. It kind of is, just people using anything to get themselves across the country, or they try to make it like a destination type thing where they capture
and that's how it wraps into the similarities of trailer scope,
right? The technology is basically you record the environment around you, and preferably during a screening of some sort, at a film festival or at a screening, and then the individual gets the individual who is recording the environment can identify the trailer that's being played, or the media, whether it be a blooper reel or an interview of the cast, and then the actual art, the name of the film, or the actual trailer gets added into the watch history of the individual. On the other side, this other part of the equation, the part that kind of more parallels market research, is where we actually quantify the amount of people who are actually engaging with that trailer. So the amount of people within that room at the time, or maybe by way of the application being able to email the trailer to a secondary person. So like by 1 degree removed, they'll be in that same room, kinda.
So like if Bernie's watching a trailer and she logs it, then I'll get a notification that Bernie did it, and I get the trailer sent to me, basically.
Exactly, and that all adds to the number of people that are engaging with that specific piece of media. This is good because it allows you to determine when you have momentum. A lot of times people submit their artwork to Film Freeway, and then when they get onto Film Freeway and they upload their trailers, all their media, and their scripts, and they go through the vetting process, and then they get chosen maybe, and then they get the award. That's a whole process. So we actually plan for that process, and that informed our workflow for trying to make sure that we capture as much data as possible from the person who is viewing the film trailer, in order to kind of help the filmmaker to make decisions about what kind of art they're creating in the future, and also to try to just run experimentation. If you're gathering a lot of momentum in March, and then you decide that you want to do a little bit more effort, like have a little bit more time to for people to like share or whatever, and then in April you go ahead and you say that I'm gonna make my trailers dashboard public for a person who has capital to deploy towards a subsequent project or a sequel, or wants to maybe they don't have capital but they have really good connections with distribution companies. Then you could approach that person and say, hey, my art is public now. You can look at the proof of people actually engaging with the IP, and without them actually seeing the full feature film, they are still able to make an informed decision on whether that's a good place to pull the trigger and at it.
It seems like with Trailer Scope, you work a lot with the marketing and the distribution of a film. What is it like working with that? And also, like, how do you kind of handle like that particular intellectual property? Because you're dealing with like bloopers, you're dealing with behind the scenes footage, and also trailers, especially like especially at a time where like social media trailers get leaked really quickly. For example, like Avengers Doomsday recently got leaked. So like, how do you kind of like use Trailer Scope to kind of like control that intellectual property for the marketing and distribution so it could come out at the right time?
Yeah, the timing of a specific piece of art is very important, because you may even at a later date, maybe closer to when you want to do the screening, may decide that the current climate is shifted in that short of amount of time. You may not want to premiere your work for whatever reason. So what we do is we actually have the ability to upload as much content under 2 minutes as possible. So usually it's like an interview, or it's behind the scenes clips. Most of the time it's trailers. The main thing for the filmmaker to upload is the trailer. But what we plan to do is we plan to make the metrics, exporting the dashboard of the actual engagement a little bit like basically like a light switch. You can make it public, or you can make it you can make it private, and that goes as well for all the different types of media. So if the media isn't being shown outside in the real world, then people won't have the ability to search it using this artifact search, and then there won't be any engagement for it. But also there will be more control of where it's being shown.
Do you have any? I don't know how far along you are in the process, but do you have any idea what like the interface would be? Kind of like, would it be like you're scrolling through a timeline? Would it be I don't know.
Yeah, so we're actually experimenting a little bit with the upload portal in order to that's like one of the most simple portions of a website that has that capability. Usually just drag and drop your files to that upload portal. But the main thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out new visuals, new ways to visualize how the engagement is happening over time, in order for us to actually like visualize and show that momentum, other than just like maybe exponential increase. because if there's an exponential increase and then the film festival stops, there's just gonna drop off, and no one likes to see the spikes in. We want to see consistency in order to
Right.
yeah. So what we're doing is we're actually working on granularity, so the filmmaker can actually look at if the trailer is actually going to be exported in a granular way, or over the course of like a larger period, because sometimes that's needed. All these film festivals, a lot of them happen in tandem, but over the course of a couple of years, you can definitely win awards for a lot of different festivals, and that would correspond to multiple spikes. And if you show that over a course of time, that's definitely useful for just marketing your artwork. Other than that, the end user. So this is like a two-sided app. There's two sides. There's the filmmaker side. There's the end user side. The person who does the artifact search while they're in the comfy seats in the film festival, or
It's interesting with festivals. Are there any festivals you're thinking of, reaching out to at this stage in the process? You want to start off building from?
Yeah. So still, I don't want to jump the gun a little bit,
Right.
a little bit ahead of time, but we are planning on collaborating with a festival in 2026 in the wintertime before springtime. So we're just building requirements, setting expectations right now, and another thing that we're actually doing. So people sign up by just basically starting a free trial. Everyone gets the 2 weeks free trial. So if you have a film festival that you anticipate your screening or your trailer being shown at, you can use the free trial for the duration of that festival. Hopefully it's within 2 weeks. I know some of them are a little bit longer, but that's usually pretty rare. So yeah, there's I forgot the question, but yeah, we definitely are working towards making sure that the film festivals are our main vein for engaging with the filmmakers and the viewers. Basically just showing them both, how to interact with what expectations and how to interact with the software, and helping them to get the most out of that experience as possible. Because a lot of times people don't really focus too much on the content of a trailer. They usually try to focus on the title card, and that's not very like, you can't focus on two things at once. You can only focus on one thing at once. And if that happens, right after another, you're just gonna forget, the last thing that you looked at. So this is kind of a solution to try and make sure that if it's not in a film festival, and on a grander scale, film studios who put out their trailers in regular theaters, you could watch 30 trailers before your movie starts, depending on where you bought your ticket. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of content, and of varying lengths. So this is like a solution to
That
help with that.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Like that, but I think it's an interesting springboard because it brings me to something else about how advertising works now. What are your feelings about that? Do you think there's what are the pluses you see, or what are some minuses you see in terms of contemporary advertising and trailers or what have you?
Yeah, so there's always the idea that you got to be creative with the way that you are building up the anticipation to your premiere, to your screening. And sometimes people collaborate with Burger King. I know How to Train Your Dragon was inside one of these fast food restaurants. No one can get IHOP, but that's besides the point. Regular marketing is kind of it's very creative. I met someone who recently, maybe about a year or two ago, landed a position at Google, and when speaking to her, I just tried to find out how does what exactly is the main thing that you would do in order to like start a campaign for whatever the product may be. And it really is just, have a blank slate, really, because no product is the same. If you're making a pair of slacks that are, brown and have cuffs at the bottom, there's many different other, slacks that fit that same, that same description. But at the same time, there's something that you're doing that made you, try to fill a need in that space. So you're kind of just working with a blank slate, and you gotta, use your creativity in order to, make something that's capturing to your, to the person that's, comes across your tile on a website, or your, maybe you write it in the sky on one of those planes.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways for people to go about that, but yeah.
Right. That's the old-fashioned way. It's just like you just write in the clouds.
Skywriters, yeah.
J.J. Bartleby and Associates. Come by, and the first consultation is free.
When you brought up that point about how when you log a trailer, it'll be sent to other people in your network. That was kind of interesting because it's different than normal marketing methods, where it's almost C to C, like consumer to consumer, rather than like business consumer. So could you speak a little bit more about, I guess, the marketing aspects of Trailer Scope and how you chose to employ those methods?
Yeah, so what we are doing is we're trying to make a support system kind of for our filmmakers. So it's really just like enabling them to look at different things, different tangible and quantified dashboards and methods, maybe even the newsletter that we are planning to put out within the next year. But whether it's just resources for hardware that you can use during your set design or costume, or actual like film equipment, or whether it's just the actual software that we're charging for. When the filmmaker is like in the like within the ecosystem, they're gonna be they're gonna try to use the software to the best of their advantage. Now, like I said before, this is a two-sided platform where the viewers and the filmmakers are kind of like they butt heads, I guess, and everybody wins. On the sharing side, to answer your question, so one viewer can share the media with a person that is who has an account on the platform, but wasn't present for that event. So if the second person were to at the same time press the record feature on the web app, they wouldn't be able to pull the same thing down, but it's kind of like a simulation of that. You just share the results of what was recorded initially with the results of that search to the friend. So it's not really like a timeline per se. Maybe that is where things are moving in the future, but from my perspective, I don't see that may be useful as far as marketing goes. It's really just like organic, boots on the ground type of thing, where
Grassroots.
Right. Grassroots way of sharing, something that you're interested in. If I read a novel that's really interesting to me, I'm gonna share it with somebody that I think may be interested as well. So this is kind of like the same thing.
I got you. So it's not an automated feature. It's like you can share it if you want. I got you.
Yeah, totally at the discretion of the viewer.
That's interesting, because it seems like a trailer scope can definitely shift the way that a movie is marketed.
Right.
From the business from the businesses kind of like pushing kind of like the marketing to like, because it feels
Right.
like very also word of mouth. So
It
like,
does.
and it uses an app to kind of like if a individual is really interested in this movie and has seen a trailer of the movie, you could share it with another individual. So it kind of keeps that kind of like word of mouth thing, but on
Right.
but using technology.
Yeah, and you're responding to like, I mean, it'll apply trailers to like major films, but also like independent things, right? Like, and it's
Yeah, our main where we're focusing on is film festivals, and
Right.
that's mainly where indie films reside. Yeah.
yeah, like, I mean, the thing is like you're reacting to like an advertising product, like a trailer that's made by the filmmaker themselves, and yeah, like there's gaining information from that's really interesting. You know, it's funny because it makes me like kind of like it ties into like algorithms, and I was thinking like the Netflix algorithm. Like there's this anecdote about how this is very interesting. Netflix's algorithm like detected an overlap between people who liked David Fincher films and people who like Kevin Spacey movies, and as a result, that's how they basically brought them together to like try something out.
Try House of Cards.
Try House of Cards. That was like the kind of thing that sort of spawned the development of that, which is it's fascinating.
Right, and they also have their own production house, I guess. Too,
Yeah.
right? Netflix.
Right.
So that's a part of the once you have a platform that's and a distribution system, because Netflix started as a distribution system.
Right.
So yeah, I guess when you're creative and with like the business use case, you can kind of make those things or facilitate those things, but not make them, but like facilitate the making of like good art.
Yeah. Yeah. Sets up like a nice like framework.
How did you get into wanting to do this particular app, Trailer Scope? Because I know you don't have a background in film, but this is kind of like a film, like a film app that focuses on trailers and different things like that. So how did you end up doing this project?
Yeah, initially I always wanted to get into market research. Market research is you got to answer very 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 pointed questions. Everything could be under the umbrella of market research. You could do market research in bottle caps, but nobody does that. But the point of what I'm trying to explain is that market research, you have to answer very specific questions. Who is going to benefit from the insights, and is it cost effective to actually go about doing 10 months worth of interviews, customer discovery, and pricing data, trends, and all those different things that real big banks and funding people with like a lot of money and resources to do that type of stuff. So I always was interested in like the prestige of going into market research. Even though I never worked in market research, I still entertained the idea of like how I could approach being an entrepreneur and providing those same types of insights and value-based decision making based on data from a perspective that is tech oriented. So initially I wanted to go into market research. From there, I actually put on my my thinking hat, and every day just started consuming media and books in a different way, with a different perspective, like with a perspective of how can I improve upon the formula that is present already. So
the formula in terms of like how the show is, or how it's advertised, or what's the
just from a general perspective, like the formula of market research for that specific sector. So whether it's concrete pouring, or whether it's I don't know, I'm thinking all about Home Depot now. So
Yeah.
whether it's lighting or architecture, you got to think about things from a different perspective when you're trying to like build a when you're trying to be an entrepreneur, but you really have no business idea. And you don't really want to make a derivative of what other people are doing. You want to be original.
Yeah.
So I was happening to watch. I just happened to watch TV that day and saw one of the I forgot the logo, maybe THX or something like that. One of those, one of those iconic, movie openers.
Yeah.
And I was like, this may be a place where we can do market research, but for the people with less resources to, put things on a billboard.
Yeah.
In 7 different areas of your hometown, So
Right.
yeah, that was how I came into like the space and started to do research and buy books and I volunteered at a couple of film festivals just to try to understand like how many people actually show up to just your average film festival that's been around for 5 years, and how much do they charge, what type of other things do they sell, do people actually are they upset that they don't get a theater seat, or are they kind of relieved that there's no pressure to like actually consume the I just tried to ask myself these questions after I came up with the idea to get into doing market research with film studios. So yeah, and it wasn't always this audio artifact search either. At a specific point, I was really just focused on getting a feedback loop started. So maybe the method of pulling up your film's trailer was just like a QR code. But it got a little more sophisticated over time, and I just thought about how to be a little bit more driven in like the efficiency and the simplification of like a workflow. So.
Nice. So yeah, that's great. Where do you like in terms of kind of like one of the things that we've discussed over time during our Uptown Films podcast is kind of like the influence that technology is going to be having on filmmaking.
Totally.
And we're seeing that both on screen, off screen, in marketing and distribution. So what do you think? What do you think about technology's influence on like the like when it comes to like filmmaking on like your end, when it comes to marketing and distribution? Where do you think it's going to go? Kind of like how do you see technology being a big influence on film?
Wow, that's a hard question. I think that CGI is kind of like definitely VFX. Everything has gotten pretty complicated these days. So much so that I feel like it maybe detracts from like some people's storytelling maybe. But if you have the means to create a work of art, then why not get it shown to people? It needs to be seen. As far as like the technology for over the top and other different types of distribution to theaters, and even just pulling things out of the archives. I went to the Museum of Moving Image the other day, and they were playing this one film called House of Mirth. It was a really good film, and it was from like the
2000, like
I think is maybe from the 90s or maybe even
Dan Aykroyd's in it, and the
guy from
Ghostbusters.
I know the guy from Home Alone 2 is in it. The bellhop.
Oh,
Rob Schneider? He's it?
Rob Schneider. Wait, maybe.
Was he like a short guy or
No,
was he like tall?
The taller guy.
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry, yes. The guy with the smile,
Oh.
Yeah.
And it has... I'm thinking of like the one with the woman from X-Files, Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
House
You
of Mirth.
gotta watch. Well, I don't know if you will have the ability to, because it's one of those things that's like in the archives, but they, just pull it out sometimes when if you don't have it on VHS, or maybe you can buy it, but
they were, I believe, showing it on Showtime like like a week or so ago. I watched a little bit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, on show. Yeah. Yeah. very long film, but the different trends and the curation of what film is being shown where and at what time is kind of like the beauty of of the filmmaking space, because we even have places that really just show shorts. There's shorts blocks of in a lot of modern film festivals. There's shorts blocks, and these things get a lot of traction sometimes. I don't know how people capitalize on that currently, but the distribution of the media is what's most focused on, and it's a very tough thing to really master, because at the end of the day, you're going to be charging for someone to have your IP and distribute as they feel fit, as they feel fit. So it's really important to have it to be like as a filmmaker. I think it's really important for your the protection of your IP and your future IP, for you to like consider have you just consider a couple of different questions. They may be of your own making, but they need to be critical questions. Do I want to really start a relationship with this distribution company, or maybe it's just marketing. Do I want my brand to be like A24, or do I want it to be Disney? These are things that you gotta consider when you're really looking at how the people see your or perceive rather your art. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing this with us, Solomon. Yeah, man. And before we go, what's a favorite movie of yours? Just
favorite movie?
throw just anyone out.
I'm gonna go with what I said before. I love Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2. Don Cheadle was also he had a very 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 good performance. Like it was very very good. So I mean I like to watch. Showtime is one of my favorite TV channel. Well, sets of TV channels. Premium channels that they just have like original stuff, and I don't know who curates the stuff, but it's just like it's better than all the other ones, really. I particularly feel, but
Showtime's pretty great. I know they've been playing the Godfather movies a lot. Yeah, Boogie Nights for a while.
Hell yeah.
That's quite a jump.
Do you guys watch it from like a streaming platform, like or do you watch it like on cable?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, getting
you
back
guys
to that
still got
again.
cable.
Yes.
Still got landlines somewhere there
We've
too.
got cable.
Do you have a landline too, Gordon?
Yeah, we don't use it much
Wow.
anymore, but we still got it. Yeah.
Wow. Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. You, Bernie?
I still have my television with the back on it. So yeah, that's where I watch TCM.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
That's
TCM.
hilarious.
Yes.
TCM's amazing. I know Paul Thomas Anderson just like plunks down some days and just watches TCM all day.
Yeah.
TCM is pretty good.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Turner Classic Movies.
Turner Classic Movies.
All the old movies are shown on there.
Little free advertising. Pay us, David Zaslow. All right.
You're watching Uptown Films, so keep watching Films Uptown.
Hey there, I'm Nicole Tay, and you're watching Uptown Films.
Hi, my name is Sean Senavrotny, and you are listening to the Uptown Films podcast.
Hi, this is Alvaro Franco, and keep making films Uptown, and please keep showing Uptown some love.
Hi, my name is Zayn Lindsay, and you're watching Uptown Films.
Hey, this is Christopher Hall. Thanks so much for listening to the Uptown Films podcast.
What's an ideal length for a movie trailer?
Anywhere from 20 seconds to, I would say, a minute 50. 2 minutes is kind of like, that's a longer, you don't really see film trailers longer than like a minute 30 seconds. So like a minute, 20 seconds to a minute 30 seconds, yeah.
Shorts versus features. What do you like?
Features. I'm sorry.
What's your connection to the Bronx?
Oh, yeah. So, in the past 8 years, I've been frequenting Randall's Island. I used to work for Randall's Island Park Alliance back in 2017, fresh out of college. So yeah, that was that. You know, I came to the Bronx. I came to Manhattan. You know, over in Harlem, just to get lunch sometimes because there's literally no food on Randall's Island besides on the island. Sound like- oh man, yeah, on the island. Yeah, but it's a really good area. Like I like this area. And you know, learning different parts of New York City is kind of like it has its own barriers to entry just because you know you don't want to get lost for too long, especially around this time of year. So yeah, so I just definitely like the Bronx, the South Bronx, really, you know, this area through the rest.
So you worked for the RIPD?
RIPA.
Oh, RIPA.
RIPD, Rhode Island Police Department. No,
you know what movie I'm talking. Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah. Made so much money.
Not a good movie.
Last two, have you ever thought of a trailer festival or collaborating with a festival just on trailers?
That's interesting. One of the festivals that I most recently went to in Harlem, actually, it was in kind of, I guess, West 30 through, I don't know, but over there by Columbia. The African Diaspora International Film Festival has, you know, trailers running all the way up until the feature presentation. So that's something that I would like to see more of. Unfortunately, a lot of festivals do rent out a theater space, but some don't have the means to do that every year. So the hairy part comes in where you just like you're not sure whether people are gonna actually like sit down and pay attention if they're not in a real like theater setting, you know what I mean? So yeah, I want to see more trailer blocks in film festivals. I definitely want to see more trailer blocks in
Shout out to the Queens World Film Festival that actually does that.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to Queens World Film Festival.
Shout out.
Shout out, yes.
Very last one, if you can finish the sentence. Trailer Scope helps indie filmmakers by
connecting creatives to capital.
And can we ask one more question? Sure. One more question is, how would you like to see Trailer Scope expand in the future?
Oh, yeah. So we're building out the main portions that are, you know, the novel artifact search. So that's where we're at right now. We're uploading as many trailers as possible. We're not really charging for the platform right now either. So if you want to get your film trailer on my website for no charge, please get in contact. But I say that to say this, you know, when we're working towards the next phase of our project, we want to have like a marketplace for market research. And this is where the person who has all the bags of money that they're trying to, you know, make you take in order to like, you know, get a distribution deal for your IP or whatever, or you know they're looking to deploy capital for your current project or your next project. We want to make sure that these people have a place to actually find you. So you know, we're gonna create the marketplace for market research and make it possible for them to export the metrics for, you know, however, you know, you choose the terms, obviously, you know, how granular or how long of a time you want to go back in order to get the metrics. But we're gonna make that so that we can help people to get their next projects funded.
Cool. Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
And where can people contact you to put their trailers up for free, or how?
Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure to get on social media and LinkedIn with a product page at the beginning of 2026. I do have a website. I'll make sure that everyone in this room and everyone who needs it gets in contact with me via an email. It's info@lectureme, lectur.me.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Solomon.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. And that is a wrap for today. You can check us out at Uptown Films Podcast. And yeah, thank you so much.
Ciao.